everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today, I have with us, they have an amazing short film. I was laughing the whole entire time. It's a horror comedy, and it's right now you can watch the full short film on YouTube. First of all, I have Dennis Kahlo with us. He is the director and co-producer, as well as Bethany. She is a co-producer, and she's also the lead actress.
Yeah.
And the short film is called Lonely Hearts. Guys, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hi, how are you, Travis? Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Travis. We're happy to be in the realm,
In the horror room.
in the room realm.
Yes.
Yes. Now, I was telling you guys beforehand, but I'm going to tell the audience. So, a film festival reached out to me a couple months ago, maybe a month or two ago, and she was like, "Hey, I have all these past winners, from this film festival in Virginia, and do you mind? I mean, are you interested in interviewing some of them?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I love interviewing anybody who has any horror creators." And so I'm going through the list, and I click on Lonely Hearts first, and I was like, oh my God, I need to have them on my channel. This movie, it had me laughing. It had me laughing the whole entire time.
Awesome.
It was so much fun. So, real quick, tell us a little bit about, for everybody who hasn't seen it yet, tell us a little bit about Lonely Hearts.
So I originally came up with the idea. I was listening to a podcast called Last Podcast on the Left, which I believe a lot of horror fans know about. They're hilarious.
Yeah.
And they were doing this story about this Canadian serial killer, quote unquote, who sort of messed up a bunch the first few times and showed up to someone's house and was just like, hey, I was I shouldn't laugh because he did end up.
He was a murderer.
Yeah, he did end up murdering someone. But I was like, the idea spawned in my head, and I texted Bethany. I was like, what if two serial killers catfished each other? And she was like, this is great. Go with it. Write the script, and then we'll convene. So I wrote the script really fast. Yeah. I brought it over to you, and you were like, all right, this is 95% there.
Yep,
and then you sort of touched it up.
Yeah.
And then we were done. It happened so fast. It was like a speeding train that just flew by us.
Yeah. We basically just wanted to take elements of a very real story, which is at the core of it, someone feeling incredibly isolated. And we shot this before the pandemic. So it's amazing that the first half sort of is just this woman, Celeste, who I play, trapped in her house alone. But she is just this very isolated, socially awkward woman. And I think that there are so many people who can identify with that, especially as we are just fully in, app dating and all of this stuff where you just kind of are breezing through people without really even getting to know anyone. And that ultimately is what we wanted the heart of the story to be, is this lonely woman desperately trying to connect with somebody, and
who's just like her.
Yeah. Yeah.
We really did want to portray her as, I mean, this is spoiling the whole movie, but
sure,
we did want to portray her as someone that you wanted to feel sympathy for or relate to, and be like, I'm like that. And then you realize she's missing someone who's just like her, which is a murderer.
Yeah.
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 Exactly. I mean, I've definitely done online dating in the past.
It's awful.
Everybody has done. It is absolutely awful.
It's terrible. It's so scary.
And I'm pretty sure I probably ran or avoided a couple of serial killers.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Statistically, I'm sure you swiped past a couple of just people with garrots in their garages. You're probably very lucky.
Yeah. Hopefully your red flag signal is your red flag radar is fully tuned.
The scary part about it is, like you say, you really don't get to know these people, and you're like, hey, let's meet up. And
totally.
You really don't know nothing about this person at all.
Totally.
And you're just so lonely, and you're just looking for love or companionship, and you're like, fuck it. Fuck my life. I'm willing to take a chance.
Totally.
Exactly. And I think that was, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
That was exactly why we wanted Celeste to jump at the opportunity to just go to someone's house, because she's obviously craving human contact.
But okay, so are we just assuming everyone is watching?
Yeah, just spoil it.
It's only 16 minutes, so But
Watch it, yes.
yeah, we wanted Celeste to seem like this this victim that you were so nervous for, because everything about her screams victim. And when you find out that she is looking for the wrong kind of connection, and she ultimately is just looking for a victim herself, only to find this other person, that was the catfishing we wanted to do to the audience. So
Right.
the two women are catfishing each other at the same time. Dennis is like, let's catfish the audience. Let's have the first half of the movie be like sort of this
Slow moving
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like very prestige, you know, like something that you could watch at like a Sundance or whatever, and then completely turn it on its head.
Yeah.
And also, you know, so it was, the whole concept was, not only are they catfishing each other, we are catfishing the audience, because we wanted them to believe they were getting something that they weren't. And we achieved it. And I said, this is either going to go down like a lead balloon or people are going to get it. And
Yeah.
every single horror audience got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We watched it at a few screenings before every lockdown happened, and there were several times where when Celeste sees the note that says like "come inside" and then the roses lead downstairs, a couple people were like, "Nope."
Yes.
Yeah, we got a
Yes.
couple of hell no's. We got hell no's in the audience.
Yeah.
We got like, you know, you got the like, oh man, you know,
Yeah.
like, and then when it happens, they realized why she made the stupid decisions
Yeah.
that she made, because she
Is
was
it- yeah.
planning on doing something.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a really fun movie to make, and it was like, yeah, I don't know, it was both of our realization that we were horror people through and through.
yeah, this was a big like coming out for us.
Yeah, we've both been horror people our whole lives, but we'd sort of been tamping it down to try and fit in with whatever crowd we were in or what we thought we were supposed to be. And this was your first horror film, and
Yeah,
this was my first.
Yeah, I want to say like horror inspired, because
Yeah.
I don't think I went full horror in this one. I took elements of like Giallo and a lot of Hitchcock, a ton of Hitchcock. There's even some like who do I love? Come on.
I want to call her Tildy Henton, which is not
Tilda
a name.
Swinton?
No.
No,
the woman from the-
a director.
Oh.
A director. Oh, my favorite. He did you know, the A Woman Under the Influence.
Oh Jesus.
Anyway, him.
God
There's
damn it.
there's even some of him in there. There's a lot of like Woman Under the Influence. We modeled like some of Celeste's outfits after that.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I was coming from a place of, I'm going to be the next great Sundance director or prestige director. You know, I did these two movies beforehand, 2 short films beforehand. And, you know, I had a specific idea of what I wanted to do. And then when we did this film, I was like, it's horror because it's so freeing and you could do so much with the genre. And that's when I was just like, I'm dedicating the rest of or a bulk of my career to this, not only for the films themselves, but for the audiences, because the audiences are the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
Horror audiences are hands down the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I hope on this statement I'm about to say, I'm hoping I'm not giving any women advice. But
Bless you for being even concerned about that. Good for you.
Very
Thank
sweet
you.
of you.
but if a woman wanted to become a serial killer, let's say,
Absolutely. Keep going. Yep.
online dating is where it's at, because think about this, and this is coming from me as a man, right? It's so easy for a woman to meet a guy online and say, hey, do you want to come back to my place, or
Totally.
I'll come to your place. 99.9% of men are like, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's astonishing it's not more of a problem.
I
Like,
know.
it really should be a major problem that women are just murdering dudes.
Well,
because-
and that was one thing that we really researched too for the film was women, like specifically women who kill,
Mhm.
and it's always we found out it was always a source of trauma that led to like the why of the killings.
Mhm.
And it was never like bloody. They were either like nurses who killed,
Yeah.
or you know, it was more like the psychological angle. So that's why we built backstories for the 2 women. So there's a lot that you don't see on screen that we went into,
Yeah.
and we were like, you know, why would a woman kill?
Yeah.
And Celeste was in a cult. She was raised in a cult, so I mean, you could tell that.
She had
You
all
had a
this
whole
trauma.
diary.
Yeah, there's an extensive backstory for Celeste. There's a whole, like, our dream is to make this into you know, a show, a series,
Or a
should.
3-part
yeah,
film.
or
Yeah.
a 3-part film.
Good.
And you know, my dream is to have Nicolas Cage in it. Like, there's a whole
Oh,
cult
that'd be amazing.
angle. Yeah, she has all of this trauma from being a little kid in a cult, you know, being around people who didn't maybe have her best intentions in mind. And she coped by realizing that the power she had in her ability to take lives. And so as she, you know, enters into real world, like, the cult gets shut down and, you know, the feds come in and they rescue her, and she's put into this real world. She doesn't understand anything. She retreats into, well, my source of power is to find people and just murder them. And
this was
it's
her
a
first
whole backstory.
This was her first time that she wanted to do it, because she was like, I this is inside of me, I can't fight it anymore. So a lot of the story too is her pushing and pulling between what's normal and wanting to, like, be a serial, like, not even a serial, but wanting to go back to that feeling of, like, I have total control again over my life and what I'm doing. So it was like a whole thing. And then Polly has a completely different backstory,
her story is different,
which is also, like, batshit, you know. But you have to get to the root of, like, why women kill, because if you have 2 women serial killers, there's not a lot of them. You know, there are some, but there are not a lot. So we watched a lot of documentaries, like, why women kill, and
I think back to your point, Travis, like, I think the reason it's not more of an issue of ladies just murdering on Tinder is because I think this is a sweeping generalization, but I think with women, it is often more personal, and it is something that is more built up. And it may not be personal against the specific victim, but it is something that is triggered by specific behaviors maybe that this woman is coming across. And so it's less of like I just feel like killing tonight, that maybe
Yes, I know.
you might see with someone else, like with a guy, for instance. Sweeping generalization, but I think it's so much more personal. And so we wanted that to be like something within Celeste that you can see has been building because she's so unhappy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about my heyday, my young, horny, stupid heyday, right?
Yeah.
If a attractive woman said to me, Travis, come and meet me in the fucking woods, in these fucking dark woods at 9 o'clock at night, I'm gonna give you some. I probably would be murdered.
Totally murdered.
Yes, wasn't there a meme or something where it was like, my dick has taken me to the the scariest places on earth, like, that you could never imagine, like, because it's like, a hot woman calls you and they're like, do you want to meet me in this part of town? And you're like,
abandoned warehouse,
but okay,
you show up, there's plastic tarps everywhere, and you're like, no.
And I may even go on with it. I'm like, okay, well, let's go for this.
Cool. Yeah. You're lucky to be alive, my friend. I'm so glad you're okay.
This is years ago when I first did online dating. There was this woman, I had a scenario just like this movie where the woman was like, hey, just come to my place. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, what's your address? She was like, well, I don't know the address. Just follow me. Meet me here and follow me. I'm like, well, that's fucking weird. Oh, well, horny and dumb, right? And then, so I fall back to this house, and we're walking into the house, and it's pitch dark. I'm like, hey, you want to cut a light on?
Dude.
She was like, no, just follow me. And I got halfway into the house. I was like, no, this doesn't seem right. And I left.
Good
for you.
I don't think most men would have left.
No, I don't think so. Would you have left?
Yeah, I would have. As soon as she said, where I'm like, I don't know the address, I'd be like, nope, I gotta go. I'm block. I'm so glad you walked out of there.
I am too. You were about to be killed.
Whoa.
Yes.
Dark house.
So bad.
Come on in. I'm going to show you to the basement. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And for a second, I was like, well, maybe she didn't pay her gas and electric, but I was like, no.
you're so sweet. Like you're willing to give the absolute benefit of the doubt. And
Yeah.
well, maybe she spilled red paint last time she was here.
Right.
And I don't know.
Exactly.
Doesn't have a butcher block, so her knives are everywhere. I'm sure it's fine.
But that's why I
Yeah.
was like, the scenario is very realistic when you think about it, because it's like if you're that lonely for someone and wanting to find love and fit in and feel normal or whatever, you go to great lengths.
Yeah. And
You
also,
know?
like, for Celeste, when she first walks in this person's house and it's like the sign says, come on in,
Follow the roses. Yeah.
Like, for Celeste, if she was expecting a guy who was maybe, insecure or whatever, it also makes total sense that someone who was trying too hard would set up roses and have them like lead to a basement where his, sexy bedroom is, without realizing how profoundly creepy that is. Because there are so many people out there who also just don't realize how they come across.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
so many, and it's getting better, but there are so many guys who were raised on where romantic comedies are like, just keep trying and she'll finally say yes.
Yeah.
So I can absolutely see Celeste walking in and being like, oh, he's one of those.
Mhm.
I'll just, go along with it.
But aren't you shocked, Bethany, as a woman? Aren't you shocked on how many women will go to a man's house that they barely know?
Uh-huh.
I mean, on a first date, met him at a club, bar. or
We're
not met him
getting
at all, and they
we're
would
getting
go-
smarter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've totally done it. When I was young and stupid, I met a guy through work. We were, I think, texting back and forth, and our first date was going to be at his house.
Nice.
And I just texted him back and I said, don't assault me, LOL. Like, it was just this, I said, please don't assault me. I'm assuming you're fine. And I went to his house.
Yeah.
Like, so stupid. And I think the generation below us is smarter.
I hope so.
But I think
I hope
so many of us were raised to not hurt anyone's feelings, to go along, to, make sure you smile, and to make the guy not, be
Murder you.
murder you. So go to his house so he doesn't murder you.
Yeah. You don't want to hurt his feelings because he might kill you.
'Cause he might kill
I
you.
know.
Jesus.
I'm so glad I'm not dating anymore.
Yes.
Like, even if you didn't work out, I'm staying with you
Yeah.
because it's too
Right.
scary.
Even if we just ran this relationship
No.
into the ground, you're
Staying
just gonna
together.
yeah.
Too
Yeah.
scary.
I agree. Like, the single life is definitely terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. I feel
Awful.
sorry for
Awful.
people who are in that room.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to film?
Well, we did. I did a lot of production, pre-production with my friend James, who is the executive producer, and he helped me out a lot on this because I'm basically a one-man team most of the time. Like, I do all the sound and the lighting and everything, but I had a bit more help on this. I had two guys helping me out on each day. One of them was James. Known James all my life, and we used his house.
And he plays
So-
Chad. He plays the guy at the end.
He plays
who's
Chad, the guy at the end.
fixing
Okay.
the car.
Fixing the car, and so I went to his house, did lighting tests. We sort of mapped out where we would do everything. So we had I think we did it in 3 days.
It was like it was 2 weekends, I think, of three days each. So we
Yeah,
shot
it
at
was-
James's house for the second weekend and our house for the first.
Your
My
old
house?
apartment.
So the apartment Celeste is in is my old apartment in Manhattan. So we shot, for 3 days there.
That's right. And then 3 days at James.
overnights
Yeah,
for the house.
for the house.
the whole
Yeah.
reveal.
But I storyboarded. I made sure everything was locked, so we were able to move really fast.
Yeah, it was quick. And we
Yeah.
had amazing. One of the things that Dennis said was to me, he said, who do you want to play Polly? Make it somebody you already have rapport with, because we have to move fast and we don't have time to make sure everyone gets along. So I had worked with Palmyra Matner in
she's so
she's
good.
great, in a web series I did with my friend John Sosis called Labeled. Pal and I had acted opposite each other for 2 seasons of that. So we knew each other super well. I knew she was great. I knew she was professional, would learn her lines in 2 seconds. And I think that also was a big part of why I could go so fast, is because even people where this was their first film, our art director, this was her first film, our makeup artist, this was her first film. They got it so fast and they were professional. They moved quickly and everyone just sort of knew what their role was and was super keen to do it and then not get in anyone else's way.
Yeah, and to add to that, Anna Frymoth, who was the art director, this was her first time doing this and her first time ever getting a giallo reference. So I made there's a lot of giallo in the movie, and I made a whole sort of what is it, dream board,
like a vision board,
whatever. And I gave it to her, and I was like, here are key elements to giallo that you always have to have with the villain: a mask where you can't see the face, a fedora, some sort of leather jacket, leather gloves. And she came back with just the perfect thing. She made the mask herself because she's a visual artist. And she was just a dream to work with. And she just set designed and, was amazing. It was the first time I had ever worked with someone besides myself, to sort of set deck and art direct. And she's just amazing. And then Miran Kim, who did the makeup, she got everything right. I said Celeste has to look like Hitchcock and Polly has to look like David Bowie. So, because the moment the door opens and we first see Polly in the mask, and you're like, oh no, it's a dude that's gonna cut Celeste up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not as an aside, not to slight Palmyra, but we gave her like big shoulders and she looked great. You kind of can't tell if she's a woman or not. And that was because we stuffed her shoulders and we made her look bigger than she is. She's so thin.
Just slight.
Very slight. Yeah. So we had to make her sort of look taller and bigger than she is. But when she first opens the door, I said that moment is like when you see your first, like, I wanted it to feel like when someone saw David Bowie for the first time in their life and they were like, what is this? And that's why that was Celeste's like first rock concert. She was like, oh, this is everything I want to be,
And I was watching, I was like, what the fuck's going on? Because like she was so excited. I'm like, why is this woman so excited?
I know.
Fucking killer here. That's why they kill her. Like, why is she so fucking excited?
That was the joy in hearing a live audience start giggling when Celeste smiles and asks her to turn it off. And there's just that first exchange, the confused laughter. Cause it's like, wait, I thought someone was we were going to see blood.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be a buddy movie.
It's a meet cute.
It's a meet cute.
My favorite thing about the movie is that moment when Polly comes out, Celeste has this big excited look. And then she goes, can you shut the thing off, but you don't hear anything? Dennis forgot to put the sound in when you were editing the part. I forgot to put my voice going, can you turn it off? So you hear nothing, but to me, it's so funny because that's how loud the chainsaw sounds. There's just not even like a hint.
And so, as I'm editing, I'm like, I'm going to throw your voice. She goes, no, that's just leave it like that. That was perfect. Yeah.
So that's my favorite part of the movie is just that like unbridled joy and excitement. I think she has like a candlestick in her hand or something.
We used so Bethany loves Clue. So I said, hey, let's make it as absurd as possible. Have a candlestick, have
a rope in
rope.
there.
I was like, let's do some Clue stuff to kind of throw in the whole. The tape is my favorite. I was like, and it was funny because we took that line a couple of times, and I was like, I'm a big fan of like British humor mixed with cartoons. Yeah. So like, I was like, just rip the tape open on one take, and she did it, and she did it so perfectly in time with the line. I was like, oh, this is great. It was funny.
It was such a joy.
I was laughing so much behind the camera on those days when we had you and her together and you were doing your lines. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was such a wonderful filming experience.
Great experience. Yeah.
Now, was it hard? So this movie is 16 minutes long, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
Was it hard to try to fit everything into that 16 minutes?
No, surprisingly not. I do an insane amount of prep work.
Yeah.
And so we basically went in and we shot what was in the script. We didn't do anything extra. I was like, this is how it's going to be. We're not doing anything extra. We're going to set every storyboard up as is.
Yeah.
We came into one issue where it started raining, so we had to strike lights from outside, and we couldn't get light pushing in from outside. That was it. Everything else was shot as storyboarded and as written. So we were able to move really fast and tell the story. I believe the script was 12 pages, but it ended up being 16 minutes long with all the, with acting and pausing
Business.
and acting business and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But generally, we had to go in prepared because this was the film that, in my mind and what I storyboarded, had the most cuts I've ever made in a film. So I knew how much we had to shoot for coverage and stuff. So yeah, but we just did what was on the page.
Yeah. I think the only time we shot anything extra or we went long was when there's a couple times where Celeste has she kind of riffs for a little bit. I think the first one is when Polly gives her the wine and then marches up the stairs, and Celeste sort of has this bumbling, what do I do? I'm going to go.
She's holding the
We-
coat.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we did that a couple times. And then I think when Celeste is asking Polly how she got into murdering, and she does sort of a bunch of
Yeah.
Yes.
pantomime
yes.
murdering.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I think we did that 2 or 3 times just to
Yeah.
riff, but that was everything else was really we get it,
Zip
we
zap
got
zap.
it, we move
Yeah.
on to the next
Yeah.
thing.
And it was interesting too because there's that wide shot when they're playing charades together, and I had cutaways of them, and in the original cut, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I didn't like that it was intercutting with the wide. I was like, this doesn't look right. And I took out all of the intercuts and just did jump cuts from the master shot, and I was like, oh, that's all you need. Yeah. So it was funny. We could have been even leaner and finished even
totally.
sooner, but we just, we're So long answer to your question.
All of our answers are
Everything-
long.
No, it didn't take that. It wasn't hard to
No.
fit the
perfect
16
the way it
minutes.
is. It's absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So what next do you have planned? What's in the future?
So we are in the process of we're in pre-production on a series.
Yeah.
It's
It's not Lonely Hearts.
not Lonely Hearts.
Oh,
So,
good
but
point.
but
I know,
but,
it's our dream. That's the goal.
Well, yeah, Lonely Hearts needs a much bigger budget than what we were given to develop this project,
Mhm.
and it was Lonely Hearts that got us this
Definitely.
project.
Yeah.
So we can't say too much about it.
No, but we're working on an episodic project that hopefully we can talk about
Yeah.
soon.
And it's not a comedy. It is
No.
it is a straight horror. It has some comic relief sometimes, but it's more of a straight drama horror. And I like to describe it as if David Fincher directed his favorite Stephen King book.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg. So it has a really cool vibe.
Yeah.
It's a really cool idea. We have been developing it for 1 year. So we have gone pretty much radio silent after we did a short film called Doors,
Mhm.
and we haven't done anything since because we have been steadily developing this with our wonderful writer and wonderful producer. Our producer is Tony Wash.
Mhm.
He's incredible. He's well known in the horror space. And Will Rogers
William
from the Guide to the
Rogers.
Unknown podcast, which
Yeah.
is a great podcast. He's our head writer. And so this is this place's first time ever doing something original. So it's taking a long time with business and
Yeah.
a lot of other things and contracts and things, but we're slowly getting there, and we're hoping to be into production this year,
Yeah. That's
if not next.
So
yeah.
cross all your fingers and toes and
Well,
Yeah.
when it does come out, or you talk more about, I would love to have you back on.
Oh, absolutely. We'll
we would
totally
love to
come back. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
All right. So Dennis and Bethany, where can we find you?
You can find me on BethanyWatson.com for all your Bethany Watson needs. I'm on Ms. Bethany Watson. That's MS Bethany Watson on Instagram and TikTok. I have nearly 10 TikTok followers. So if you want to get on the ground floor of TikTok, jump right on.
I think I
Yes,
like 20, so you're fine.
you're doing better than me, friend. And Dennis, where are you?
I'm at DennisCallow.com. And we also have a podcast called The Check-In, where we check in with ourselves.
We
Jeez.
monologue.
We monologue. It's just us talking to ourselves. No, we check in on our relationship because we work together. So We
And
don't
it's lighthearted and fun.
very lighthearted, not anything really horror related, but that is our podcast, and you can find that on Instagram. I'm Dennis Callow basically on everything. So if you type in Dennis Callow on Instagram, I'm the only one there.
Yeah,
I
you'll
got a
find
little
'em.
blue check mark. We both have blue check marks next to our
And we
name.
didn't even buy them.
No, we didn't buy them. We got it on the ground floor,
Yeah, of TikTok.
not of
I don't know.
TikTok.
Not
Oh, I am on TikTok too, and I got there's a video in there that has like 250,000 views.
Whoa.
It's just you should watch it. Yeah, I think you'd
Okay.
love it, Travis, because it's called The Woman in the Corner.
tough.
Bethany and I filmed it, and it's literally just like 4 seconds long. It's so short.
5-7 seconds or something.
It's so short, but it's so scary, and and everyone loves it. And it sort of
it out.
got into the algorithm.
Yeah.
And now it has a warning over it. It's like, well, are you sure you want to
Scary.
see this? And it's not even
Yeah.
like bloody or anything.
Oh, I'm also on Blue Sky.
I keep hearing Blue Sky. I don't know
Blue
what
Sky.
that is.
That's the alternative to X, which
It's
is
the alternative
formerly
to
Twitter.
formerly
Is it?
Twitter.
Mm.
I don't know anyone on it except my friend Sarah. So if you want to follow me on Blue Sky, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm really trying to get people on Blue Sky. I have no skin in the game whatsoever, but I'm like,
She's
gonna
lying.
get-
She's getting
You're
kickbacks
like,
from it.
fuck Twitter, Blue Sky.
yeah, Blue Sky.
She made me turn these lights blue in the background because she was like, "We gotta promote Blue Sky."
No one's on Blue Sky. God damn it. Yeah.
By the way, everyone, also go into the description box and below. I had the link to Lonely Hearts on YouTube,
Awesome.
the full movie to definitely check out, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's always important.
Yeah.
Definitely,
If you
yeah.
go, it's my YouTube channel, which is also Dennis Callow. Also, Doors is on there, which is a 4-minute short. It's very short, but it was sort of like something we wanted to just do
We shot it during COVID.
during COVID.
Yeah.
And then my other all my short films are on there, including The Weekend, which was my first short film, and Death and Disco Fries, which was my second.
Yeah.
So.
Brian De Palma.
Oh, and I also I made a full length. No, it's not Brian De
Wasn't
Palma.
De Palma.
No, I made a full length feature documentary called In Flowers Through Space. It's an hour and change, and that is on the Pinch Music YouTube channel. It's a music
Beautiful documentary about if you're into music and mathematics, but also it's entertaining. It's
Yeah.
great.
A man named E. Scott Linder made a album based on the Fibonacci sequence, and he wanted to document the thing, so I made a documentary for him.
That's fucking awesome. Check it out.
I feel like we just threw so much at you.
Yeah, sorry. There's a lot of.
I'm telling you, listen, I am such a fan of Lonely Hearts that I'm gonna watch whatever you guys.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much. Well, I think
So-
you'll really like what we got cooking.
Yeah.
Man, I think you might really like it. I hope
Yeah.
the horror audience continues to embrace us. You've all been amazing, and we just want to give our gifts to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you watch Doors, which is only 4 minutes long, just know that film almost got me evicted from my apartment. So if you watch it, you'll probably figure out why. But I got in a lot of trouble.
I'm
but
gonna
it
check
was
that
worth
out
it.
now.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Got in a
It
lot
was
of
worth
trouble.
it.
Yeah.
So we learned a lot in this interview. We learned that women can be serial killers if they want to. be. So men
Absolutely. We can do.
easily.
You know what? We can
But
do
y'all choose not
anything with
to.
our minds to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Y'all
Yeah.
choose not to. I don't know
Yeah.
why, because men suck. I would just when I'm killing men left and right.
We're too smart to know. We just don't want to end up in prison. You know. Otherwise, you'd all be
I
in so
think
much
women
trouble.
can get away with it. I'm telling you, if women can get away with it.
Totally.
Here's the key, ladies. By the way, I've never done this before. And meet guys online, invite them to the woods, but
Mhm.
don't send them a text message saying the woods. You call them, hey, meet me at this place in the woods, and then have a grave dug and some lies sitting on the side, and
Look,
just tell them
we're not
to come in.
I'm not endorsing
Don't
it.
do it.
I'm going on record. Don't do it.
Don't murder anyone. But if you want to pretend
Yeah,
or
we're
write a
awful.
movie about it, this is a
Yes.
good way to do it.
10 years later,
Yeah.
there's some documentary about the most horrifying serial killer ever to exist, and she's getting interviewed, and it's like, yeah, watch this podcast.
Or
And
you-
Lonely
you're
Hearts
gonna
was a big inspiration for it.
Or y'all gonna see me in the news, be like, I knew that guy was fucking doing something about him.
There's something weird. Something about him.
He was such a great interview. So,
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
that's a damn
The
shame.
crazy ones are always the ones that are the most fun. So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Charming too,
Congrats.
I know, right?
yeah, totally charming. I know.
But we also learned too, just to make a PSA, that you should never ever go home with someone you just met.
Never.
If their house is dark,
Ever.
run.
Run.
Meet them at a Starbucks. Always. Or,
Meet them at the local
Go
precinct.
on a couple
In
dates.
front of the local precinct. You know?
go to the cops, park in the parking lot, have your first date in front of the cops.
Public.
Yes.
Oh,
Go on 2, 3, 4 dates before you start going back.
Completely.
There's no rush.
Also, it's a great opportunity to see how they treat like servers,
Yep.
people who are giving see
Yeah.
how they treat the people that are like doing the work for
Yep.
you. And if they're shitty,
Don't.
done.
You can
Also,
find out
Steve-
if I would say you
Go.
can find out if the guy is willing to pay or not.
Yes. There, you can learn so much if you date someone in public.
Yeah.
It's
Bethany
very
made me
important.
pay for everything.
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 You're paying to this day for this.
She said, I'll take you out to eat. I said,
And the
okay.
man should,
But she
though.
never said she'd pay for it.
As a man should in the beginning. I think that men should pay in the beginning. I really
Fun
do.
fact: our first date, he asked me to. We're way past time, Travis. But this is important. Our first date, he was coming to my neighborhood, so he was like, "You pick where to eat." And little did the sweet Dennis know, my biggest anxiety is
Food.
choosing a restaurant
Yeah.
because I hate it. I don't know where to go, and I'm worried no one's going to be happy.
And I'm vegan.
And he's
so-
a vegan.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. There's this natural food grocery store that has a hot bar. So our first date was at the grocery
deli.
store hot bar. And sweet Dennis was like, this is great.
Yeah, I
This
loved
is
it.
Great.
They had really
Love
good
it.
food.
It was fine. You walk right in. There's like Vito Coco coconut water on your left and like
Yeah.
produce on your right and just like some weird chicken and some vegan
was great.
tofu.
It was the most non-pretentious, like amazing, low maintenance.
Cost you like
Low
$7.
Low pressure. I
Yeah,
always
I
tell
was like,
guys
that's
too.
awesome.
I always tell guys too on the first date. You don't have to take a woman to a 5-star restaurant.
No,
Be
I'm not saying
cool.
take her to McDonald's either, but I'm saying you don't have to take her to a 5-star restaurant.
No, just
you
be a
don't
cool
have to
person.
flex that hard.
No.
You could just
No.
go to somewhere moderate.
Starbucks
You know, it's like-
is fine. Coffee
Hey,
dates is
right.
perfectly fine for a first
Right.
Totally.
No one's in for too much. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And
like,
if the person, being invited has a major issue with it not being expensive, then you know right away that person
be
is
like,
in it for the
"Great.
wrong reasons.
I'll pay for
Run.
you, and we can leave.
Yeah. Totally run.
Yeah.
Yep, totally.
All right. Listen, guys, it's been an absolute blast. I would love to have you guys on anytime.
We're gonna be back tomorrow. We're best friends.
Bethany's just gonna start showing up to all of
Do you
your.
want to hang out? Like,
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just gonna show up to your house and you guys will just let me in, okay?
likewise.
Yeah. Likewise.
We're kind of coming with our suitcases and our sleeping bags
And our cat. Hopefully, you're
cat.
not allergic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll bring Celeste.
No, this was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks,
so much.
Travis.
It was
This
such
was
a
great.
pleasure. You're
No
wonderful.
problem at all.
Thank you.
Listen, everybody, check them out. Check them out. The links down in the description box. All right. Thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm
Yeah,
Travis.
thank you
Pruitt.
for having us.
See you guys next time. Take care.